Hey guys, I'm Jack. Lindley is normally here, but she's doing the dishes over there
She does best.
because
Hi guys, can you see me?
she doesn't think that I'm very good at doing dishes. Thank goodness, because I don't want to do them anyway, really. If you really want to know the truth,
Not very good.
I don't want to do the dishes anyway.
Cleaning it up.
The thing is, I'm willing to do the dishes. In fact, one way to get Lindley to do the dishes is just to say, all right, I'll go ahead and do the dishes now. I don't think insurance agents should exist. Oh.
Excuse me?
Yeah, I'm gonna work out. Ooh, look at this. What are you doing? Trying to break your weight limit here?
Me?
Who's been pumping
Actually, your
this?
son uses that.
My 6-year-old son's been pumping iron.
He thinks he is.
You think about 3 things tonight as I'm talking, and one is education, so remember that. Number 2, health care. Number 3, insurance. Let's take them in that order. Education, health care, and insurance. What are your feelings about those 3 topics? We'd like to hear from you. But first, my opinion. Health care, insurance. Okay, education first. I have a Bachelor of Science degree from college, so I have a 4-year degree, which only took me 5 years to complete. Because if I took a faster pace, I would have had to have a job. And here's why I didn't have a job in college. Because when I went to school in the 1980s at a college, if I had worked a job, I would have had enough income to offset a Pell Grant, which was based on income, my parents' income. So because they had a low income, I was eligible for a government Pell Grant, which, as you know, a grant you don't pay back. A loan you pay back. So I wanted to eliminate the need for more student loans, which I had some. But to eliminate that need and get more grant money, I had to have a low income. That's right. So you got it. If I worked in my income bracket with my parents' income, I would have had no chance to get as much money, and I would have had to pay back more money to the government than getting free government money. I know, it's a messed up system. So I think education, even though I have a college degree, I believe education is only for the select few that require it. Those that want to have a law degree, a medical degree, whatever. I'll get into medicine later. But I think a lot of people don't need a degree because they can self-teach by going to people in a profession or that are already doing something in an area and learn from those people directly. Be like a self-appointed apprentice. If you wanted to be a farmer, you go to a farmer. My brother's a farmer. And you have a young person just come alongside him. He'll teach you everything you need to know. And he is successful as a farmer. If you want to be a truck driver, same thing. I have my best friend and my brother used to be a truck driver. But my best friend's a truck driver. You can learn from him anything about that. You don't have to go to school. I'm not saying you don't have to get certified or whatever, but I'm just saying all the skills exist from people that already are in that field. If you want to do construction trades, certainly go to carpenters and skilled tradesmen and learn directly from them. You don't need a college for that. Science, math, those teaching things, you can do your own experiments. You can come up with your research. It's all about money, okay? So first thing is, education is about money. If you don't pay an institution or a college or a university or whatever, they're not gonna exist. So the only reason they exist is for tuition money. So if you don't go to that college, you don't pay them any money, then they don't get any money, they don't exist. You still could get an education on your own. If you got a second-rate education on your own, it's still, your chances are about the same because you're already self-educating, you're already learning as you go for what you need to do. Do you have anything else to add to that?
Sorry, I was doing dishes.
She was doing dishes. So you got to self-educate.
Right.
Because if you...
I mean, look at your brother. His kids are not in public system school or private school. They are in a home.
I homeschooled my kids for a couple of years, and then they went to public school, and all they did was get bullied. Now, I'm not saying public school is bad, but I'm not saying it's good either. I want to hear your thoughts and your opinions. This is Jack and Lindley. I'm just saying my opinion is education should be taken carefully. You don't have to get education from a government school. That includes grade school, high school, junior high, college, everything. You don't have to get an education from the state.
Right. I mean, your brother's kids are being homeschooled, and right now your father is out there teaching their 7-year-old how to read.
So if you're out there getting your own education, like somebody you've never heard of, I'm going to name one. Abraham Lincoln.
There you go.
Okay, I'm being facetious. But Abraham Lincoln is the most well-known president of all time in the United States history, and he's self-educated. He's self-taught, and he got a law degree just by picking up a law book and studying. You say, well, I don't have that kind of mind. Well, you do. Actually, you do. What you're good at, you're good at. And you pursue what you're good at, whether it's art, architecture, whether it's something to do with skilled trades, whether it's something to do with sales, whether it's something to do with public presentations, whatever it is, you're good at something, and you can develop that skill by following the leaders in that industry.
It's true.
Education has gone so wrong lately because one of the leading people that talks to educators, he was teaching a whole room full of teachers, and he was speaking to them saying, yeah, public education has done some things, the wrong thing right. And they've done the wrong things right so long that they don't have a system to do the right thing. So that was a revealing moment for them. We're teaching our students using 50-year-old methods. Sitting in a classroom doesn't really reach most students. It's about 30% of them respond by sitting in a classroom in rows, looking forward at a teacher who's presenting information. But 70% of students normally learn by moving or by hands-on. They learn by different methods. There's different methods of teaching and there's different methods of learning. And we can't identify with all of those in a classroom setting. So that's limiting. The hours, the structure of 50 minutes for a class or whatever it is, it's so timed and regulated that it starts meaning nothing because students start looking at the clock and they're not thinking about what they're learning. So there's no interest in learning. Even at the college level, you're paying money to go to this institution and all you're doing is watching the clock to get out of there. So it's defeated its purpose. Education should be a thriving individual enterprise. It should not be something that sits in the classroom and pays an institution to get accomplished. No, self-education, that's the way to do it. In almost every case. There's very few reasons for any type of paid education these days. Just learn as you go, whether you want to be a cop or a pharmacist, to learn from people that are already doing it. All right, moving on. After education, we have health care. Now, health care is a big, fat, ugly word because it's thrown around by politicians. Obama has Obamacare, and other people have these health care requirements, and people are terrified. I have an aunt who's just terrified. My mom's sister's so afraid that she's going to lose her job. I don't care if she watches this. Who cares? Let her watch it. I hope you comment. So, she's so scared if she's going to lose her job, if Obama wasn't elected, whatever. Like Obama's going to take care of her government job. Obama's one person. He's not going to be everybody's government job for them. We can't spoon feed the public their jobs. We can't spoon feed the public their education. So we've got to self-educate, and we've got to be able to take care of health care on our own. What do I mean by that? All right, let's say you get in a horrible medical situation and you have $100,000 worth of medical bills and you only have a few $1,000s a month income. Okay, let's be realistic. Then you pay what you can because they cannot deny you treatment. If you're dying on the street, they're going to pick you up and take care of you. They've taken an oath. These medical people have. They went to all that school and paid for that education. So they're going to take care of you. If you have an illness, they're going to treat that illness to the best of their ability. Now, the best of their ability may be debatable, but it's still the best of their ability. And if you want health care, then just go to the hospital and make your payments. Now, again, the example, $100,000 worth of medical bills and the guy only makes $2,000 a month. What he's going to do is take a percentage of his income that he can spare. Let's say he can spare $100 a month. Okay, let's say he scrapes by and gets $100 a month to the medical facility that he owes $100,000. He pays $100 a month faithfully. Well, that's not the best thing in the world, but as he's going along, he's making faithful payments. They're cashing his check. They're making good on. He's making good on that. He gives them that in writing. He says, "I'll pay you more when I get more." That happened to a friend of mine named Mike. Mike was a guy that ran a mechanic shop in a nearby town. He didn't have any money, but he said, "I'm going to give you this amount." It was probably $25 a month. That's all he had. And they said, we want more. And he said, "Well, I don't have any more." And that's what he said. "If you cash my $25 check, then that means you're accepting my terms." And that's exactly what he did. So Mike paid faithfully every month the amount that he could afford. That's health care, folks. That's what you can do. Pay what you can. I'm not saying stiff the system. If you have all the money, if you have $100,000 and you owe $100,000, pay it right up front. But if you don't, then pay what you can, as much as you can, as often as you can, on a regular basis. That way you can be good to your word and make faithful payments. I'm not talking about trying to avoid medical payments. I'm talking about paying for your own health care. It's financial sense 101. Anything to add to that, Lindley?
You also get a health savings account that you could put money into each month or each week from your paycheck, so that way you have the money if a medical problem does arise.
So a health savings account's always a great idea to stick aside. You know, people paying money to themselves every month to set aside in case there is a medical emergency. Don't pay a health care provider for health insurance, and don't rely on a job for health insurance. Just do it yourself. Quit being a dependent wham baby. Wham! Now, number 3, it brings us right into number 3. Insurance. Pay for your own. Pay for yourself. Set that insurance money aside. You got auto insurance requirements? I think that's a crock. I don't think the law should force people to buy auto insurance. I think people should be able to buy their own auto insurance by setting aside a certain portion of their income every month into an account. And if they ever get in a situation where they need an auto paid for, like through an accident, or they have damages to pay for, they pay for it out of that. Now, if you show $60,000, if I read this correctly, if you have a $60,000 assets that you can show in an account, you don't have to carry automobile insurance. Well, come on. If you want to do it that way, that's perfect. Then that just tells me nobody really should have auto insurance. Nobody really should have health insurance. Nobody should have any kind of insurance unless they pay for their own. I'm not advocating employers forking out millions of dollars to pay for employees' insurance. I think employers have enough trouble without paying for insurance. There should be all kinds of ways to fund insurance by your own income if you get to keep it. That's another matter. All this stuff about taxes. Well, let's let the taxes go in a different direction, but we'll talk about that another time. We're talking about insurance. So if you're paying insurance on your own, pay it to yourself. If you didn't have to pay as much taxes, I'm sure you'd have more money for insurance. You don't want to pay insurance to an insurance carrier or an insurance provider. I used to sell health and life insurance, okay? I used to be an insurance agent. But I'm just here to tell you, I don't think insurance agents should exist. I think we should have to self-pay for everything. And I am making way below the average wage. In fact, I'm below poverty, okay? I have no money. Virtually less than $100 in the account all the time. So don't even worry about me. I don't have an income to speak of. Just here and there, little odd jobs. So here we are, Jack and Lindley, real couple, a married couple. We love 24/7 marriage, and that's what we're all about. I decided to walk around and get a little excited tonight, move around a lot. The lighting's bad, but you get the idea. Education, you need to self-educate. Healthcare, you need to take care of it yourself. Insurance, you need to take care of that yourself. Everything in your life, take care of it yourself. Learn to make your own payments. I want your comments, I want your subscriptions, and I want them now, okay? We're getting tired of this 0 subscriber thing. Now you get out there and you have the guts. You have the balls to give yourself the first, you be the first one. Even if you're a woman, you have the balls to be the first. Can I say balls? You have the breasts. That doesn't even make sense. What do you have? You have the guts. You have the courage to be the first subscriber, and I'll love you forever. Talk to you later. Can I say balls?